Alright, you guys, I just got off the phone with Kentucky Power, or AEP, or whatever you want to call it. And even though it's Kentucky Power, it's not in our state. They have different branches. It's all based in like Canton, Ohio, one of them is, and the other one's like somewhere over in Pennsylvania or something. But anyways, I just got in calling them on the phone and trying to figure out why this is so freaking high. Like always, it seems to be. Basically, what they said was whatever kind of bullcrap they want to say, which they wasn't rude, the person I talked to, the operator, and nothing like that. But what she said was completely different from what the person said last month on my anniversary month. I can understand it being high on my anniversary month. I can even understand it being high the month before that, in June, because I got behind on bills and it was like over $700 and something dollars. Because even with my income, because all I get is $987. That's my whole income for the whole month. That's all I get. I do not receive food stamps or nothing. But anyways, and I had to pay that in full. I even if I get behind 1 month on the power bill, in 1 month behind or whatever, that means it's going to be doubled. So that's why it was over $700 and some back in June. Then it was $981 last month, or this past month for July, for their anniversary month. And then you see next month, or this month, August, it's going to be $429.41. And they told me at the first of the year in January, it was $310 is what my budget. I'm on budget plan. This is the only power resource that we have in Kentucky, in this area, in eastern Kentucky. And this goes on, there ain't no getting out of this. Even if I was to move, this is all over eastern Kentucky. This is how the power company is. And this is what we have to go through for power and electricity. Anyways, though, it is called Kentucky Power, AEP, and every single year, no matter what, as long as I've been an adult and paying power bills, and I've always been on budget plan because of my income and stuff. But even whenever I used to work, I've always been low income or whatever. But anyways, they raise your bill every single year after your anniversary month or whatever, or at the beginning of the year, like they're starting to do now. They've done that for like the past couple years. They've raised my bills at the start of in January, at the start of the new year or whatever. So anyways, this year they raised it on budget plan now from $310 up to $360. And then I called them back then in January, and I said, is that what my normal budget's going to be from now on? They was like, oh, yeah, okay. Come around to my anniversary month. My anniversary month is actually in June, but I pay for the bill because it's like delayed a month behind or whatever. I pay for it in July. Anyways, so after my anniversary month, this past month, we're still in July right now. We're like on the last day of July right now. But anyways, I paid $981 and like 42 cents or something like that on that bill. I don't know exactly what it was. I showed y'all before. Anyways, that took literally all my money that I get, because I'm disabled, I'm on disability, and so that took all my money that I get, but $2 to my freaking name. And so I took those $2 that I had. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Life is what it is, or whatever. And that's all I had to give to my youngest daughter for her spending money. $2 freaking dollars. But anyways, and then we just live on whatever's gifted to us, food, whatever, the rest of the month. But anyways, and I wasn't able to pay like my other bills. And so, but anyways, that's a different story. So back to the power bill. I called them at the beginning of this past month in July, and I was like, I understand it being high because my anniversary month, but I thought my anniversary, because I had gotten behind on a bill, and I thought my anniversary month was in June because where it was still over $700, and so I thought that was my anniversary month, but I hadn't realized or forgot that I got behind on bill, 1 month behind on a bill on my power bill, made it like over $700 and some dollars, close to $800. Because what happened was I choose to grocery shop. I choose to spend money on my daughters. I choose to go out to eat, have a little luxury in life. So that put me behind on bills, on the power bill. It's just like playing Russian roulette every single daggone month. And I'm sorry I'm getting emotional with you guys. And I'm not begging nobody for nothing. I'm just talking and telling my experience with this power stuff. And like I said, there ain't no way out of it, because even if I was to move, I would still, because of my income, I would still have to be on budget plan, because there ain't no way I could afford it in the winter months. Like, especially that's whenever things get super high around here, like in December and January. You're talking about, if I wasn't on budget plan, I would have regularly probably $800 a month, or maybe even up to $1,400 a month if I wasn't on budget plan, power bills in those months, living around here and stuff in the wintertime. But anyways, I called them at the first of the month in July here, and I asked them, I was like, well, and so they told me that was my anniversary month, and that's how much it was gone up to. And anyways, they said after I get that paid, and if I paid it in full, it's going to go back down to $370, not $360. They said because of my budget plan, supposedly their usage or whatever, or their yearly fees or whatever they want to come up with, in my opinion. They said that, because I think that that's what they do, that's what it feels like. That's what it seems like, because nothing's changed on my end or nothing, But, so they wanted to raise it to not $360 like they said in January. They said $370 a month. So just now, whenever I finally called them and got a hold of them, I asked them again. I said, why is my bill so high for August? You told me last month if I paid it in full, and I did. I paid every red cent in full last month, or this past month, or whatever. And they said that I wouldn't have that trouble next month. Well, I called them, and then they said, oh, no, we don't do that. It was a different worker, obviously, too, than I had before on the phone. I could tell by their voice. But they was like, no, we don't do that. We do it in budget ways, because we do it to try to help people out. We don't ever ask anyone to pay the whole plan in full, What the heck? I mean, I flat out asked them about that stuff last month, but whatever. I think it's just whatever they come up with, whatever they want to say, because they know they got the upper hand of people. And so they said we do it in payments of like $50-something. I think it was like $53 in 3 installment payments after your budget plan. And that's the first I had ever heard of that. So anyways, supposedly, that's why my electric bill is going to be so high this month in August. It's going to be $429.41. And then I asked them again. I said, well, if I pay this amount and I pay it in full and don't get behind on my power bill or whatever, come September now, is that what my budget plan is going to be for the rest of this year in 2025? Is it going to go back down to $360 or $370? And she said, yeah, after you get these installments paid and after you pay it in full, it will go back down to $370 a month. But freaking, even $370 a month? That's just one of my bills. I got other bills just like everybody else in the world does. Just like everybody else in the world's having a hard time with this economy. It's getting about too high for me to afford to pay for it, to be honest. And the housing situation, I don't want to be here. I never wanted to be here. But, right now it is what it is or whatever. But there is no housing here in Eastern Kentucky either. Anyways, it might be cheaper in ways, but in ways it's not. And there's no land here in Eastern Kentucky. There's no housing. Housing is a big issue here in Eastern Kentucky. There's not really apartments or housing projects or nothing like that. And I couldn't get into them anyways because I am on disability. That's what my income is. And you're not allowed to make not one red cent when you're on disability. You got to report every red cent you get, even if you get something gifted to you, like when it comes to money. You got to report that to the GOV. And so, and also, whenever you're on disability, you can't live or have but one home dwelling in your name or own one home dwelling. So I do own this house according to paperwork. I do own my home, my house or whatever. I don't consider it a home. It's a house. It's hell for me is what it is. But anyways, and you're not allowed to own but one of each item, whether it's a house, transportation, whatever it is, which I do not own transportation. The vehicles that you all see out in my videos, they do not belong to me. A lot of times because where I live next to family that we do not communicate with. Or I do not communicate with. My children do communicate with them. But I do not, and I do not ever plan on it. But those vehicles do not belong to me. Those vehicles belong to those people. And I am not at free will to use those vehicles just anytime I want to. And trust me, things will always and have always got thrown in my face. That's the way it's always been around here. Like anytime I borrow or use anything of anyone's or whatever, and they know about my YouTube channel, I'm well aware about that. One of my biggest regrets ever was before I quit speaking to them. I wish I had never told not one single family member about my YouTube channel. That's a little advice for YouTube people out there. And also, they're always trying to take my YouTube channel down. And I'm well aware of it. And I'm not going to stop my YouTube channel no matter what. But anyways, that's the situation, what's going on right now with my power bill. So hopefully whenever I call next month, or in September, hopefully by then, everything will be straightened out for the year. But we'll see. Because it seems like every time you talk to them, every time you call them, or whatever, they just say whatever they want you to, whatever they want to say, and they know they can get by with it, and they can do whatever the heck they want to do, because they know that they can get by with it. Oh, and at the end of the conversation I had with that marketer or whatever, representative or whatever on the phone call, she asked me, like I said, she wasn't rude to me or hateful or nothing. They usually are, though, because they know that they have the upper hand on people. But she said, oh, we just so happen to be doing a surge protector giveaway today if you do this interview or whatever at the end of this phone conversation. She said, would you be interested in that? I said no, because no, I ain't interested in that. I'm stressed the freak out. I don't have time for that crap. I don't want to do that just to get no surge protector and stuff. I have surge protectors. Oh my goodness. I bought those on my own. I have surge protectors. Why do I need another surge protector? Those things don't worth a dime anyways. And so why would I want to waste my time and food with that anyways? And it's probably just something that will make her look good too. And why would I want to do like a little survey thing talking about my experiences with her phone conversation? I know it's just her job too or whatever, and she doesn't own the company or whatever, but why would I want to do that and give them like a good reference on a survey whenever they treat their people who have to use their services like crap? They're just robbing us blind, allegedly. I mean, and we don't have another option here with power. So why would I want to waste my time and do that? Anyways, that's the update on the power situation. Thanks for watching. If you've watched all the way through, I'm sorry for taking and wasting so much of your all's time, but I do appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.